Well, hello. I am Lisa Petrich, the Youth Director here at Unity of Olympia, and I am so glad you joined me here today. We are continuing our lessons on finding your Zen, and our lesson today is Waves of Breath and Kindness. Waves of breath and kindness. And as we always do, we are going to start with prayer. So we have our little prayer guys and our little candle. I hope you have your candle too. And the candle is there to remind us of the Christ light within inside us and with everyone that we meet. Let's go ahead and say our prayer and start with prayer together. Thank you, Spirit, for bringing us here together today. May we live, love, and grow from one another. May we be present and mindful of our own self-awareness. And our quote today is from Martin Kornfeld. It said, if we all do one random act of kindness daily, we just might set the world in the right direction. Let's say it again. If we all do one random act of kindness daily, we just might set the world in the right direction. I'm hoping we can. And then I'm going to move on to our mindfulness tool. Now, our mindfulness tool is kind of fun. It is an energy stick. Now, it's much like the energy ball we had last week, but this one is a stick. And this is a tool that if we were in a whole group, if we were together, we would all stand with one hand touching another, and we would see if we could get the energy stick to make a sound and light up. Now, if I hold it with just one end, if I just hold it by myself, there is no connection. There is nothing to make that connection or for me to conduct the electricity that needs to go into this that lights it up. However, as soon as I hand my hand on there, it's a lot of fun, isn't it? It puts it together, so I let it go, and there's nothing. I put my hand, I'm not pushing a button, I am just touching both sides of this, and I'm conducting electricity through my body. And you can do it because we're all connected. If we sit there and we start and we put each other together and we connect, it reminds us, this is a tool to remind us how we are all connected. Now I want to tell you that me just thinking about you, our minds are connected in that way too, and sometimes invisible. I don't know if you've ever had a friend or something that you thought about, and then all of a sudden they show up, or they call, or you get a little note from them. That is part of our connectedness that we don't always recognize, but it is through spirit. All right, we are going to move on to our focus card. Now, before we start our focus card, I want to talk about how we do our breathing again, because the breathing is so important. And I bet you when I say it, you're going to go, oh, I know that, Lisa, I know that. But let's make sure that we know. So when we do our breathing together, we want to breathe in through our nose like we're smelling a flower. We want to hold it a little bit and breathe out through our mouth like we're blowing out a candle. So we want to do it nice and slow, and we want to do it rhythmically. So when we use breathing as a tool, it's important to have that rhythm of what you're going to do. Now you can do it rhythmically with a song, you can do it rhythmically with just a light beat, or just in the quiet of your own pace. However, this tool is asking us to do it with waves. So let's go ahead and turn those waves on. We get some breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to turn it up here a little bit. And as we breathe in and we breathe out, we are doing it with the waves, like the waves of the ocean. So let's read together this first part, and then we're going to practice. It says, notice how your breath moves in and out like the waves on the shore. Your breath is always with you, and it's a great place to rest your attention to help you feel calmer. So when those big feelings come up, when we're having a hard time with something, feeling calmer is the goal. And even if it's just after a long day, like you've been outside playing for a while, or you went to a friend's house and you've had a lot of excitement, sometimes we just need some waves of breath. So finding, maybe I just found this little thing on YouTube that had ocean waves on it. And then getting out, remember in your mindfulness box we had the seashells. And right now it's fall, but we can think summer, and we can think about being at the beach and hearing those waves and being able to breathe with them. So let's practice it a little bit. We're going to match each breath to the sound. So as we hear the waves kind of go out, We're going to be blowing out, and we hear them come in. We're going to be breathing in. So if you'll do that with me, we're going to do 3 breaths. And hold your seashell. So here we go. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Well, I don't know about you, but I could feel like I was at the beach doing that. It was really nice for just that moment. Now there's a little bit more on the back of this card that talks about when you breathe. When you breathe normally, you only inhale or exhale about 10% of the space in your lungs. This increases when you exercise or take a big breath. So if you've been sitting all day, or if you haven't had a time to just move around, you really need to take those deep breaths because your lungs haven't practiced expanding. And we want to make sure we're getting that fresh air. So if you've gone for a walk or exercise, that's great. But if you've been sitting, really make sure to take some time to do some mindfulness breathing. It can help. And it says down at the bottom, try taking one bigger than usual breath with the next wave coming in. Imagine this wave going farther out than the smaller waves before it. So if we take a really big breath, just trying to get it in, I want you to keep breathing in as far as you can. And then I want you to push it out as much as you can too. So let's try that together. Breathe in through our nose. Keep breathing in. All right, now push it out slowly through our mouths. Keep going. And you've just had a waves of breath. Now if you do that often, it can really help you to feel better and to lighten the mood. Oh, I'm so glad we were able to do waves of breath together. I just had an escape to the beach. It was great. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get our waves to calm down and just slowly calm them down. There we go. Good job. And we are going to move on to our Made Out of Stars quote. Wait till you see. It's a good one. This is the greatest work that kindness does to others, that it makes them kind themselves. And this is from Frederick William Faber. This is the greatest work that kindness does to others, that it makes them kind themselves. All right, so I really want to talk about this kindness and what this means. And I want to just ask, have you ever had someone do something kind for you? I'm hoping all of us have had someone in our lives do something kind for us. And when maybe they made you breakfast, took you out to your favorite restaurant, brought you something that you really wanted, played you a song, did something really kind for you. I want you to reread the quote and ponder its meaning. So it says, this is the greatest work that kindness does to others, that it makes them kind themselves. I think it is trying to say that people who receive kindness become kinder themselves. People who receive kindness become kinder themselves. When someone does something nice for us and we have true appreciation for their thoughtfulness, that is called gratitude. So if someone does something kind for us, we truly appreciate their kindness. That is gratitude. Kindness brings on the feeling of gratitude. You may even want to do something nice for them in return. When you're feeling like that, you want to do something nice in return for another person because somebody has done something for you. So in 1995, there was a movement called Random Acts of Kindness. It is based on the idea that people look for ways to give to others, and if we did it, we could change the world. So if people look for ways that one person would be kind, and then to another, and to another, So using the earlier quote can give perspective on the quote from the book Made Out of Stars. If we all do one random act of kindness daily, we might just get the world in the right direction. Set the world in the right direction. People who can appreciate one another can also be people who are kind to one another. When we are kind to one another, there's no room for hate, only kindness and gratitude. Truthfully, I'd like to change the quote from Made Out of Stars. And this is what I would change it to. This is the greatest work that kindness does to ourselves, that it turns our thoughts to gratitude. When we are kind to ourselves, we learn to freely give to others. When you do something with no thought of what you receive in return, you are giving of yourself unconditionally, with no thought of what you will receive in return. When we give with a knowing that we have everything through one source, that is love or God, we give freely. One time around 1995, when this idea first came out, I was a youth director at another church in Jacksonville, and we made something small or something pretty with pictures on it, probably said some nice words on it, and had the kids, we all went to the mall, and we handed them out to people. And I remember people at first like, what, why are you giving me something? And then next thing you know, they were just really excited to get something small from someone else and from a random stranger. I hope you sometime have that experience of giving to somebody when they least expect it, because it really does warm the heart, and it helps us to feel better when we're doing kind things for others. On numerous occasions, David and I have given gifts to different organizations when they are in need, because it feels good to do that kindness and act for others. I've also been on the receiving end of kindness. As teachers, parents give gifts at times to show appreciation for the work I've done. My husband, David, he used to leave me small notes everywhere to remind me that he loved me, especially when he was going away a lot or working a lot, because in that way I would just be reminded of him. My mother would buy me small gifts, and she would give them to me. She'd just be out thinking of me, and truthfully, I would hear from her daily on my phone. She texts me. And just today, I was walking through my neighborhood, and a neighbor, had nicely put out this stand, and it had masks on it, handmade beautiful masks with beautiful material that were free. She just put them out there free for everybody. Now, I took a few. I have to say I took probably 5 or 6. But my kindness back to her is I'm going to send her something in the mail this week and make sure that she knows how much I appreciate those, and that other people are going to benefit from them as well. So each small act of kindness builds on the other. One person does something kind, and they do something kind for someone else, and they do something kind, and so on. I just kind of watched a video on this where somebody was having trouble getting something out of the trunk, and someone else helped them get it out of the trunk, and then that person went over to the hot dog stand and bought hot dogs, but he bought an extra hot dog for someone else, and when he handed that to someone else who was not looking like they were happy at all, they were just kind of sitting there miserable, and he handed him a hot dog and said, "Have a great day." That person saw that someone left their cell phone behind, and so they went ahead and they took that cell phone and gave it back to that person who may have left her cell phone behind if somebody wouldn't have handed it to her. And then the person who had the cell phone, she went and bought flowers for somebody who was just sitting outside having lunch. And then that person who was having lunch, who got those nice flowers, you know what she did? She left a nice tip for her waitress. And so on, and it just kept flowing. And that's what a kind of world I want to live in. I want to look around and I want to see people doing nice things for people. And a lot of times you don't see that on the news, or you don't see that in other places. But it's really important. Even kids have done it. I watched another video today about a 9-year-old who came up with the buddy bench. He was the one who came up with the buddy bench so that kids would not be lonely on the playground. And he was only 9 years old. Think what we can do when we put our minds to it. Each small act of kindness builds on one another. So this week, start thinking of ways that you could give to others. Random acts of kindness. Could you reach out to a friend, draw a picture, write a poem, sing a song, clean up your room? I know a friend on Facebook who is making Christmas cards for the troops to be able to send home. Handmade Christmas cards. I think that's a great idea. Here's a list of kindness for 30 days. Oh, I have a list here. Hold on. And then we're going to talk about what we have to do. Let me move over to our Random Acts of Kindness page. So this is 30 random acts of kindness. You could do 30 days of random acts of kindness. You could compliment someone, recycle bottles, give a smiley face picture to someone, visit a nursing home, share toys with siblings or share toys with friends, make cards for someone, tithe your allowance. That's an interesting concept. Giving some money to somewhere where you feel like you're being fed. Help someone with yard work. Now these are things you could purposely do, or you could come up with your own list of, just get a calendar out and say, hey, I'm going to do, or get a piece of paper out. These are 30 ways I'm going to be kind this month. I am going to do this every day for 30 days and see how your life changes. See how it brings you around to gratitude. Try those random acts of kindness and you will feel better about you. Now, if you're someone who already does a lot of random acts of kindness, maybe this is about acknowledging what you already do and really giving yourself credit, because sometimes we can be hard on ourselves. So maybe saying to yourself, I do this, so every day I'm going to write down the things I've done for others to remind myself that I am a giving person and that, I love to do for others. So we are going to move forward to our, it is a Bob Sima card, so let's listen to some Bob Sima.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time for Bob Sima.
It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time.
This is
It's another day under the flames. It's another day to make any claims. It's another day to be bold, brave, and unafraid. It's another chance to change direction. Move the arrow, course correction. Be an instrument, be the change and move out of the way.
Yeah, I really love hearing him. I love hearing Bob Sima, and I love his cards. I love these cards, and they are called, I think they're Soul of the Song cards. I keep calling them Songs of the Soul, but they're actually Soul of the Songs cards. And this one is called Ease. I said now easy. Easy is my philosophical, can I say this? Easy is my philosophical view. Easy does it. Easy does it. And that's the song, and then the album is called It's Time, which is why we were listening to the It's Time part. So let's read on the back what it says. It says, what you resist persists. The thing you push against pushes back. The more you try to convince me, the less I believe you. Do you see the trend here? Sometimes we're just exhausted and worn out. We're trying too hard, and frankly, things are not going our way. Perhaps it is time to take a step back, receive a deep breath, and let things sit for a while. Let the chips fall where they are. You can come back to it when you are rested and you have fresh eyes and a softer heart. For that matter, it is time to approach everything with ease. It is time to live life from the relaxed state of knowing that there is always enough. All is well, and things are in perfect divine order. When you approach things with ease, life simply gets easier. So our commitment this week is Easy Does It is about the only way I do. Say it with me. Easy Does It is about the only way I do. Make it easy on yourself this week. When things start to get complicated, step back. Get some rest. Do what you need to do. Easy does it. Easy on yourself and others. We are all going through so much. It is so important to give grace to our friends and our family and to the people who are struggling right now with anything. So I wanted to end before we go. There's a couple things I want to show you. I want to show you. David and I are coloring the pictures too. So those of you who are getting pictures, some of the teenagers are getting pictures of the older kids. We're coloring them too. So this was last week's Love Yourself. I colored that one, and then David took and he colored the other love, and some of the younger kids got that one. Some of the younger kids got that one. We're having some fun with it, and we're going to take some time. That's one thing we've kind of committed to, is we want to take some time throughout the week so that we can put some energy around these videos by taking the time to color, taking the time to breathe, and finding our own Zen so that we can bring it for you. All right, our closing is our unity principles. We always end with our unity principles and our prayer for protection because we want to bring unity into these videos. Unity has been such an important part of my life, and I want to share it with you. So these are our basic unity principles. God is good and active in everything, everywhere. I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and in everyone. I create my experiences by what I choose to think and what I feel and believe. Through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. I do and give my best by living the truth. I know I make a difference. I do and give my best by living the truth. I know I make a difference. Now, for those of you who make it this far, you know every week I seem to put the comma in the wrong place, but it's kind of fun to redo. But which unity principle do you think we talked about today? Which one was our focus? Which one is something that we could focus on this week if we wanted to remind us of our divine inheritance through God? All right, prayer for protection, if you can say it with me. The light of God surrounds me. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you. Have a great week, blessed week, and I'll see you next time.